Is it just your dad who wants to win over me? Or is it someone else in your team? Who juiced you up?
Pro boxing fans here in Brighton, it's fight week. Harlem Eubank, I've been around you for a long time in your career. I see that smile on your face. With me, I've got boxing royalty in Chris Eubank Sr. First of all, Harlem, whilst there's a lot of talk about everything else around this fight, just talk to me about how you've just got to stay focused and just do your job on Friday night to ensure that you get the big fights that everyone wants to see you in.
I'm fully focused on Timo, putting in a statement performance, and the big fights are beyond that. But you know, that's where my focus is. Friday night, we're 2 days away now, and I'm ready to put on a show.
Chris, I was in Riyadh last week where there was a plethora of boxing legends. You know, we look at Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis, people who have held the sport in high regard. You talked about, and you're talking about, is still about the bar being set very low in regards to the integrity of the sport. What has changed in your eyes in the last couple of years, in the last decade, that you feel like the integrity of the sport has been lowered?
Well, the Boxing Board of Control have been trampled. You know, their rules have been trampled. And I don't know how that's happened. You know, Robert Smith is a very strong character. I speak to him. I've always abided by the rules. Before him, you had John Morris. You know, I can remember him ticking me off because he didn't know what type of character I was going to be, because I seemed, bolshy, but I was never ill-mannered. Okay, and it seems to me, you know, the way in which fighters are supposed to behave are not being. It's not being, there's no examples of that, or there are very few examples of that today. And certainly of the rules of boxing. You know, I want the public to understand 147 fights 147, 154 fights 154, 160 fights 160. You know, these rules are in place for the safeguard of us fighters. And, you know, the numpties who take this out and say, well, this is a fantasy fight, you know, it really can't be because of different weights, but I can make it this way. No, that's running amok, and that's putting the lives of these young men in danger. And the public, I say, you know, if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. But if I'm right, get behind me and protect our fighters, and furthermore, let's now raise the bar. He's going to be the bar. Because I don't see anyone in this country who has his skill sets, which will be proven on Friday night.
How important is it then, going off what you're saying, that fighters have a good team around them? We know fighters go through struggles. You know, if they're not fighting, there's mental health issues, there's physical issues. How important is it that, like yourself, you've teamed up with Harlem, that they have the right people saying the right words in the ear?
How important is it? Yeah. It's critical. Because when you're listening to people who don't know anything about what happens once you get into the ring, so there is a fight against two spirits. Okay, they have no idea about that. They know about selling tickets and getting famous. Look at me. Look at my car. No, I don't know about that. I know about being in fights where you can't win and you know you have to get up and walk back into the fire. That's what I teach. And it's rare now. Okay? And you'll have it in this young man here. Yeah. The great thing about his ability is this. He'll box you and be sweet, but if you back him up into a corner, he's going to crush you. It's beautiful. I love it. That's what excites me. And I intend to give the public and make fighters into what they are supposed to be. Yeah. You learn how to protect your life, because you should be fighting a man who is capable of taking it if you don't know the art. He knows the art. Conor knows the art. But he's headstrong because of his dad. He wants to get a win over Eubank. Well, you're not going to get it over my son, because that fight is illegal. Okay? Boiling my son down to 160 now is criminal. Get away from that. Find somebody else. Here's your 147. Can you elaborate?
That's the fight to make. 147 pounds. You know, he can try and ignore it. He can run and hide from it, but it's going to creep up on him, and we're coming for that next.
What do you make of Eddie Hearn and the team saying they're not interested? And I know there's been a back and forth, or Conor's been in touch via social media. What do you make of them saying they're not interested in this fight?
That's what Nigel said back in 1989 when he had the Commonwealth Championship. When he was Commonwealth, he's not interested in Eubank. He's all talk. He's this. He's a fake. He's a pretender. After I beat him, he said he may be a pretender, but he's a great pretender. Yeah. So, you know, calling my nephew Harry, I don't mind you calling him Harry, but still that's not going to get you to fight, which is an illegal fight. You can't fight someone who walks around at 12-3, boiling him down to 160. Before, you would have fought him at 157. He would have lost his life that night, which is why that fight didn't happen, and why it's being boycotted. Whoever's giving you this view that you have, you know, you've discarded your entire career for Chris Eubank Jr. Who is that? Is it just your dad who wants to win over me, or is it someone else in your team? Who juiced you up if you were juiced up? What happened, Conor? I watched you on Piers Morgan, showing that you are an honest man. You said, I don't know what happened. You know, thieves never walk into the light. Liars never walk into the light. You walked into Piers Morgan, the brightest light in the country. I know you're innocent. Okay? You're with the wrong people. Make them right. I don't say get other people, I say make those people right. And making them right is fighting at your weight. 147 fights 147. This is the gold. You're the destroyer. I back the gold, and I back him with everything. You're going to meet the terrors.
Chris Eubank Sr, Harlem Eubank, good luck on Friday night. Not that you need the luck, but we'll speak to you after the fight. Thank you so much for talking to pro boxing fans. Thank you, sir. Thank you.